do at every Winter IG camp is provide some feedback in the recruiting process. I know there's a lot of guys here that are seniors, some juniors, but there's sophomores and freshmen as well. And I think without a doubt you will be able to benefit from some of the guidance here of the coaches that we have. So again, we're gonna ask these guys to introduce themselves again. We'll start with Tim, where you're at, and what school.
I'm Tim Walls. I'm the head men's soccer coach at St. Catherine College, which is just outside Bardstown, Kentucky. We're a small NAIA school.
I'm Adam Boyer. I'm the head men's coach at Spalding University, and Spalding is a Division III school just a couple miles down the road here in Louisville.
Again, Mario Sanchez, here at U of L.
All right, and so what we're going to do is ask the coaches just to talk a little bit about their situation, because they're all a little bit different. Different levels of the NCAA, different affiliations, NAIA. And just as a starting point, because what is evident is the rules and regulations change for each. The recruiting process, not so much so, but the rules and regulations are a little bit different, and you'll get a sense of that. One of the things that we hope to do is make it very clear of what the recruiting process looks like, and also dispel some of the ideas that you might have about the recruiting process and things like scholarships and how that works. And as we get finished, we're going to open it up for questions, and certainly the parents, we open it up and invite you guys to ask questions as well. Tim, because Tim's in an NAIA school, we're going to ask him to start and explain a little bit about NAIA and what that is and how it relates to you.
All right. The first thing is this is a great opportunity for you guys to ask questions, and there's no such thing as a dumb question. All of us have been doing this for a long time. We've heard all the questions that there are. Feel free to ask them, okay? Because some of the questions you think are going to be dumb questions aren't actually aren't dumb at all. I am at St. Catherine College, which is an NAIA school. And the basic thing is we are a different organization than the NCAA in the fact that we don't really have recruiting rules, per se. I can contact you as many times as I want. I can call you as many times as I want. I can come and speak to you after games. Just usually, if you're playing a game, whereas NCAA, it's after the tournament finishes. Is that correct? Is it still like that?
If it's a single contest after the contest is done, or if it's a tournament after the tournament is done.
Right. But we can contact you, you can contact us. The biggest misconception with the NAIA is that we do not have scholarships, which is false. We do have scholarships. They may vary from 1 to 12, but the NAIA does give scholarships. And with that, with a lot of schools, what we'll do is we'll mix your scholarship up. We'll take a soccer scholarship of a certain amount. You will add on to it an academic scholarship, which private schools usually give a high amount of academic amounts. And then you will add, let's say if you're coming from the state of Kentucky, you'll have KEYS money and then your FAFSA money. So we'll take all of that to put into your amount. And usually with the NAIA schools, our tuition is pretty high. Like mine is $27,000 a year. And what usually I get from parents is, oh my gosh, $27,000. But we have a package to put together, and most of my players that come and play for me really pay not as much as you think they would. And it varies according to different things. The other thing with the NAIA we have reserve teams. And what these reserve teams do is a lot of our freshmen will come in and they're not ready for the speed of play, they're not ready for the physical amount, they're not ready to attend classes. With us, a lot of times we're on the road late, we'll get back at 1 in the morning, you'll have a class at 8 with a test, and some of the freshmen aren't ready for the adjustment. So what we'll do is we'll place them on reserve teams. They may still play on our first team, but we'll send them on reserve trips so that everybody's getting experience. So instead of sitting down at the end of the bench sometimes, not getting playing time, we'll send you on reserve trips. And then you'll play, and you're playing against the Lindsey Wilsons, you're playing against the Rio Grandes, the Campbellsvilles, Cumberland, stuff like that. And usually those teams are treated the same way as our first team. They get the same amount of coaching, they get the same equipment and things like that. So that's really what the basic difference is. The other misconception is that we are a lower level talent-wise, which isn't true. You take our conference alone, we play in the Mid-South Conference. This year alone, out of 10 teams, we had 8 that were nationally ranked in our conference alone. 7, I lied. We had 7 teams that were nationally ranked. We had 2 of them One of them lost in the semifinals of the national tournament, but has won it 12 times. The other team has won it 4 times, and they lost in the quarterfinals this year. And a lot of us, we will play Division I, Division II teams in our springs, and we'll compete with them. So the level of play isn't is a high level. It's just the only basic difference is the recruiting rules. Okay, make sense? You with me? Still awake? Wonderful. Anything else?
No, that's good. That's good. Appreciate it. Adam, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Spalding and the difference with NCAA and different level of school.
What I would just say in general for you all, as you start to look at schools and you look at the different levels, is for you all to be proactive and reach out. As far as sending an email goes or getting on their websites, filling out a recruit questionnaire, okay, that's going to be a good start at any level, and it's going to put you on their radar. So that's what I would encourage you for any level, be it NAIA, Division III, II, or even Division I. You all need to be proactive. As far as Division III comparatively to others, I think what you'll find is that the size of the school is smaller for the most part. The majority of schools are going to be below 5,000 students. There's some exceptions there, but again, the majority is going to be below and have smaller populations as far as students goes. You'll find that there are more options as far as Division III schools goes. There's 400 Division III schools that have soccer programs. 400. I think with Division I, it's about 150.
No, it's 204 now.
204. Okay, so that number's gone up. So again, there's about twice as many Division III schools as there is Division I schools. You'll find again that the tuition at a lot of these schools is higher. Okay, Division III does not offer athletic scholarships. Okay, so everybody's coming in on an even playing field there. You can get academic scholarships. You can get financial aid through the government. Okay, but Division III, and that's specific to Division III. At every other level, they're allowed to give scholarships, but you cannot give athletic scholarships at Division III. I think as far as when you talk about the talent level, okay, Division I you're going to have here. Division II and III you're going to be about here. Okay, so the top Division III schools can go and compete with some of the lower level Division I schools, and so that's kind of just a gauge of where the talent is. That's kind of a general thing. Again, I would just encourage you all to be proactive and seek out schools. Think about the size, the location, the level, the opportunity for playing time, you know, your specific major. And then again, one more thing I would point out, with Division I, II, III, even NAIA, in the fall, very busy. Every level, 6 out of 7 days a week, you're with that team, be it practicing, games, travel, those types of things. When you get into the winter and the spring is where you'll probably find a difference. With Division III, you're not allowed to be training during a certain window from about December to the end of February, okay, and then you'll have a short spring season. In the fall, again, very intense at all levels. I think with Division III, that winter block is a little less intense. You're not getting together as much as a team per NCAA rules. And then with the other levels, it'll be a little more as far as interaction together on a weekly basis.
Good. Good. Can you talk about Division I schools and just in general?
Yeah, again, this, just from a general, there's two main differences, Division I versus NAIA, and even Division III, even though Division III is NCAA. One is the NCAA Eligibility Center, okay, and basically Division I level and Division II, okay, the NCAA has set up the Eligibility Center. Just real quick, raise your hand if you know what that is or have registered with the Eligibility Center.
Mario, we have it now too.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so NAIA, maybe later on Tim can clarify on NAIA, it's something new they've started. Actually, I'm surprised, not too many guys. The NCAA Eligibility Center is basically kind of a third party set up through the NCAA where they regulate to make sure academically it's the same playing field for all Division I and II programs. Division II, they have a little bit of different academic requirements, but for Division I, the NCAA set up the Eligibility Center to regulate that everyone has the same basic curriculum. Okay, now, within that, there's two different, you have the academic side for admission for the university you're looking at, and then the NCAA. So the eligibility center says you have to have 16 core classes to be eligible to play Division I sports. Okay, whether it's soccer, football, basketball, whatever it is, you have to have 16 core classes. It's your English, your math, your electives. They're all college prep classes. Okay, and then from there they have a sliding scale for your SAT or ACT score, which will be based upon your core GPA in those 16 core classes. And you have to register, sometime it's usually best in your junior year to register. And as you go through the process, whether it's making official visits or once you get to a university, to be cleared to play, you have to have been registered, sent your transcripts in to the eligibility center. So that's one major difference. Division III doesn't have that. Just so you guys know, it's Division I and II, the eligibility center. Okay, and you can go eligibilitycenter.org, all the information on there. And I would recommend for any of you that are interested in playing college, whether it's Division I or II, even if you don't know, I would recommend highly that you guys go on there in the next week and register for that. It's just a process that you'll have to do eventually if you're going to play Division I or II. Okay. The other side is from a compliance side, NCAA compliance. Like Tim said, Tim's on one side of it where really there's not that many rules NAIA. Adam's got a little bit different set of rules for Division III. Division I or II, we are very regulated on when we can talk to you, both through email and through the phone and face-to-face. Okay. Basic rule of thumb, prior to your senior year, okay, so freshman, sophomore, junior, okay, we cannot call you, okay? You can call us, you can come in and visit us, but we cannot call you. Camp's a little bit different, so maybe some of you guys called, hey, I got a question about camp. For camp, we can, call someone back and answer questions. But pure recruiting-wise, we cannot go out. Like Tim said, he can talk to you guys whatever he wants. We cannot go out and see a junior play and say, oh, that's a great player, let's call him up right after the event. We cannot do that. Emails, we cannot email somebody until their junior year. So again, freshmen, sophomores, we see, we like them, we can send them camp information, but we cannot email you and say, hey, you know what, we saw you play this weekend, here's information recruiting-wise on our program. So that's another a major difference in rules as well. So the communication between telephone and email. Face-to-face, like Coach Lowe was talking about, again, Tim has his set of rules. We cannot meet with somebody face-to-face off campus. Okay, that's the thing, off campus, until after July 1, going into their senior year. So again, you're a junior, we like you, you know what I mean? Game's over, tournament's over, we can't, hey, you know what? Adam comes, we want to talk to you about our program. We're not allowed to do that, okay? If we happen to run into you, we meet you guys at this camp, we see you at a tournament, we can say hi, how you doing, great to see you. But it can't be, hey, again, great game, let's talk about University of Louisville and the recruiting process. After July 1, going into your senior year, or in your senior year, once an event is completed, so big event right now was Disney, right, a couple weeks ago. Disney's done, you're completely done with the tournament, your coaches released you, and you're a senior. Okay, then at that point, we can have a face-to-face talk with you recruiting-wise about our program. And that's another major difference recruiting-wise. Your senior year is when you're allowed to take official visits. Okay, so you're allowed 5 official visits. And again, there's a new rule now that you have to have registered with the Eligibility Center to take official visits. So that's another reason why you do want to register early on. July 1 and on in your senior year, we can make phone calls 1 time per a week. We're not allowed to text. Another major rule. We get a lot of texts from kids, hey, coach, can you text me or whatever. We are not allowed to text back at any point until they've signed an NLI scholarship or been fully admitted into the university after the NLI signing date. Okay. These rules might change, but that's what the rules effectively now what they are. And then the other side of it, just from a scholarship, we're allowed 9.9 athletic scholarships. Okay, and it's up to every program how they want to divide that. They can give someone a full scholarship, 10% of a scholarship books. But you have 9.9 scholarships, and like Adam and Adam's down athletic aid, but Tim was saying, what we try to do is package athletic aid with academic aid. So the basic premise is do well academically. You're going to open up a lot of doors for yourself, not only admission-wise to schools, but financially for yourself. Okay?
Yeah, Mr. Gordon. I I just piggyback on the last end of that where scholarship-wise, there's a misconception out there that there's a ton of scholarship money for soccer, for athletics in general. Mario says here at the University of Louisville, the maximum is 9.9. We're fortunate to have that. That doesn't mean every Division I school has that. The Ivy Leagues don't have any. The Patriot Leagues, there's still a lot of schools there that don't have any scholarships. So if you look at the amount of youth players that are graduating seniors and how many scholarships are out there, it's a small percentage that get scholarships. So again, Mario's saying academically, make sure you're doing well. You're likely to get more money academically than you would athletically. There's still more of a benefit for that.
They're saying, I saw a stat recently, statistically speaking, and this is just across the board for athletics, 3% of kids that play athletic sports in high school make it to the NCAA level, not even Division I, II, or III, just in general. So all combined Division I, II, or III for all sports, 3% of kids that have played at a high school level make it onto the NCAA level. Of that 3%, I think it's about 1.5% actually get some sort of athletic aid. So typically, you know, what they're saying is, one, obviously it's very competitive just to play an NCAA level sport. And the second side of it, like Coach Ken is saying, is scholarship-wise, athletic aid-wise, it's obviously 1.5% of that 3% get athletic aid. So just as like Ken said, as you guys go through the process, not only you guys but parents as well, your expectation should be one, hopefully I can get on to a team, and then two, I'm probably going to be minimal athletic aid, or typically they call it a walk-on, but you're going to be on the roster initially without athletic aid.
So the question is, how do you find the best school? How do you find the school that is the best fit for you? And it starts by one, you being proactive. You have to find it. There's very few times that the school finds you. Of that, Mario's talking about the top percentage, you're talking the highest of the high, the schools will pursue them. We're pursuing certain kids, a very small percentage of kids will contact. And many of them contact us first even still. But the school that you want to go to, likely, you're going to have to contact first. If you sit back and wait for a mail to come in, or a phone call, or an email, you may be waiting a long time. So you have to be proactive in the process. Now, what's the number one thing for you guys to find the best school that's fitting for you? You have to, one, decide what you're looking for. If you have never decided what is important to you, whether it's geography, I want to stay close to home, I want to play Division I soccer, I want to go to somewhere that has architecture, finances, it has to fit into this level. If you guys never decide what it is that you're looking for, you could be out there searching for anything, and maybe that doesn't fit what you're looking for or what your needs are. So that's the number one thing, is you have to contemplate, think, what is it that I'm looking for? Big school, small school, far from home, close to home, what the cost is. All those things are so important. The level of soccer, and having an idea. Do I want to go someplace that is simply pushing me to be the best player I can be? Or do I want to go someplace and know that I'm going to play all 4 years? It's your choice. But if you don't know that going into it, it's very difficult to then find the school that best fits your needs. All right? That's number one. And then once you do that, then you have to be proactive in the process. You have to search it out. If you know what you're looking for, it makes it a lot easier, because all of a sudden, if you say, look, I don't want to go to school anywhere beyond 3 hours, now you eliminate a lot of schools by circling a 3-hour radius. If you say, I want to go to a school that has architecture, now it's pretty easy. You eliminate a lot of schools. If it has to cost a certain amount, you eliminate a lot of schools. And with all of that, you're going to have a select number of schools that meet your needs. And with those schools, then you contact them. Tell them you're interested. Tell them you want to play soccer. Send them your profile. Academic information, athletic information. More importantly, you tell them what opportunities they have to see you play, and likewise, like you're doing here, what opportunities do they have for you to come to their IB camps or whatever that they have for the summer. all right? How can you get yourself in front of them? How can they come see you? Provide them those opportunities, all right? When you identify those schools, the ones that you're most interested in, go see them. Go visit them. It's tough to make a decision if you're at home, if you've never seen that. Most importantly, talk to them. Not your parents, you. If you're going to go play college soccer somewhere, all right, the relationship is not going to be with the parents and the coach. It's going to be with the student athlete and the coach. You need to start that relationship now. If your parents are sending out the email, that's a red flag for the coaches. Saying, oh boy, maybe they can't take care of themselves. So you need to start that process. You need to write the email. You need to send it out there. All right? So you take responsibility. You be proactive in it. Once you visit, the most important thing is talk to the people. The people that are responsible for the program. Who is going to be most responsible for whether it's a good experience at college? I'm not talking soccer, at college. If you're playing college soccer, the one person most responsible for it being a good experience is who?
Yourself.
Yourself in deciding who the soccer coach is. Here's why. The soccer coach, do you know how many times we see our players? Every single day. Really, we see them almost every single day. How many times will you see a professor? Maybe twice a week, 3 times a week for maybe a course or 2 courses during 4 years. Will they have that much influence on you? Maybe not. Well, then you say, well, probably the guys I'm hanging around with, which are going to be what? Soccer players, likely. Yes? Who's going to decide who those soccer players are? The coach. He's the one that is going to decide who you're surrounded with and by. So if there is one person responsible likely for your good experience, it's going to be the soccer coaches because they're going to see you the most. And they're going to have a direct impact on who you're going to be surrounded by with on a daily basis. So you better get to know who they are. You better get to know what they're about, what they value, all right, and what they see in you. All right? Be proactive in the process. Okay? 2 things in life dictate who you become more than anything else. One is what you read. The other is who you associate with. From an association standpoint, the soccer coach will have so much to do with that. All right? Any questions? Parents, you guys, come on. Who's going to be the first one? What question? Yes?
What really stands out to me now with you?
Get an email. What highlights it, Adam?
Just giving your basic information, where you're from, what interests you about the school that you're emailing, some general information about your academic and your athletic profile, and then possible opportunities to see you play as far as showcases and upcoming games goes.
Great answer.
Yeah, I want to know it's personal. I want to know that whoever's writing me has done some research and knows something about the school. And then the letter itself will tell me a lot by how it's written. You know, are the words spelled properly? Are the sentences properly put together? Things like that. But mostly that's what I want to see. I want to see someone's written me. They know about my school. They know what kind of academics we have. Maybe how our record was last year or something like that. And then when I read it, I want to see that they've taken some time to write the letter.
We've gotten emails also. I know I've gotten them from prospects that said, "Dear Coach Collins, I'm excited to go to the University of Kentucky."
Yeah.
You know, so what it was cut and pasted, and they never changed. Personalize it is what they're saying. Know who you're sending it to. All right, because you send up something like that, and obviously you just delete it, because obviously they're not too concerned about the university that you send. What else? And
Don't list, you know, the blind, or again, dear coach, and then, you know, we look up there and there's 75 schools listed on the email.
Right.
I mean, again, personalized. That's, like, I understand you're trying to say, you know, get your name out there to as many schools as you can, but at least take the time you know, to again research with schools, because if you're looking at 75 schools, I mean, again, that's telling us is you probably have, one, you don't know anything much about that program, and then two, I mean, you could be all over the place, big school, small school, you know, different levels, so again, personalize it.
Any other questions? Yes?
How soon do you guys like to see emails? Like, how soon should we email you?
Yeah, I would start the process in your sophomore year because it's happening earlier and earlier, and for us, from an identification standpoint, I would at least by the end of your sophomore year, start sending some things out to coaches to let them know what your schedule is so you can be seen. So in your junior year, in that summer leading up to your junior year and in your junior year, you can be identified. Anything?
Yeah, and the other thing is a lot of the smaller schools, I know with a lot of the Division I schools, they have software, I guess, that helps you keep track of your stuff. With us smaller schools, we don't have necessarily the budgets to do software like that. So there is nothing wrong with keeping in touch with us. You know, there's nothing wrong with writing us, getting an email back, and then writing us back again. You know, just to keep you in mind, especially the school you're really after, that you really want. Keep us informed. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't think you're being a bother or anything like that.
Any other parents? Nothing for the parents? Oh, here we go.
So, say you're like a senior, you're not sure where you're going to go yet. Any advice? Like times are now?
Well, again, it's critical that you know what's important to you, you know, and what you want. From a standpoint of level of soccer you want, as well as where you want to go to school educationally, what they have, as well as geography. I wouldn't make a decision just to make a decision. Be patient in it. Keep pursuing it. We've had situations with us where, again, kids have made decisions early because they looked around and they saw other kids had made decisions and hastily made a poor decision. Where I've also seen a guy that pursued the University of Louisville for a while, made a decision in April one year to come to the University of Louisville. He was playing with the Portland Timbers this past year. So he was in his senior year and made the decision in April. And it ended up being the right decision. So again, be patient. Don't feel panicked about it. Keep pursuing it. And know exactly what you want and looking for. Anything else, Mark?
No, I think that's it. Just keep pursuing. You know, you have to have an idea what you're looking for. And I think, again, Ken talked about it, everyone talked about it. You know, aim high for sure, but you also have to have perspective of the level. You know, hopefully you have a coach that, you know, you can trust and say, hey, Coach, I'm not sure, you know, what do you think the best level for me is? You know, there's a level, I like to think there's a level for almost everyone. I mean, again, if you just want to play college athletics, there's a junior college route you could always go to as well if you still need to develop, you know what I mean, which is fine as well. There are a lot of kids that go from junior college to different, you know, whether it's NC or NAIA. So I think, you know, again, you're talking about, you know, how do you continue to pursue it. I think hopefully you have someone that you can talk to and say, you know what, you're at this level. You know, even within Division I, let's say maybe this half of Division I. But I think you got to have a perspective on what your level is. And with that, you know, it's easy to go watch a game. I think you should watch games for sure. But sometimes, you know, you're sitting high up in the crowd and looking. You know, you go watch. I've been lucky to go to Europe and watch, you know, Barcelona play. I was at literally the top row of the new camp. So from way up there, you can tell it's fast. But I can play in that. It's not too bad. You know, each time you get closer and closer to the field, you're like, whoa, this is moving. Right, and I know kids, you know, whether it's us or others, you know, they go to college game, a good Division I game, so that's easy, I could play there, and you know, and then all of a sudden they go watch a training, and they're like, whoa, that's intense, that's fast. I mean, those guys are, you know, they're closing down quickly, the ball's moving quickly. So, you know, with that, I always tell kids, for sure watch games, but watch trainings of the school you want to go to, because you're going to get to me a better perspective, the speed of play, the intensity of it, and the coaches. Look. Once a recruit gets on campus, I can tell you, a coach is not going to change his personality based on what recruit's there. They're like, oh, you know, Johnny's here. I gotta, you know, I gotta be on my best behavior. He's going to coach. Okay, so you know, with that, you're saying, you know, how do you continue? You got to continue to pursue it, and understand what you're looking for. Can you play for a coach that's maybe very aggressive in their emotion? Okay, you know, they're emotional. Some kids are okay with that. Can you play with a coach that maybe is, you know, very quiet and won't give you feedback unless you ask him? There's different, again, they're people, you know what I mean? So what kind of coach do you, you know, play best under? What will you learn and develop as a person under as well? So again, as you're pursuing it, look at those details, because otherwise, there's between Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, there's literally over 1,000 places that offer it, okay? If you don't know what you're looking for, right, to find that place for you, you can be just searching and searching and end up with nothing. So it goes back down to where everyone's trying to say is personalize it and do the research.
Be patient.
I think too, I know with NAI, or you may have done with this, with NAI schools, you can come and actually train with us too, twice.
Division 2, I think.
Division 2, I think you can too. You can't do it with you guys. Okay, so Division 2 and NAI, you can actually go and train with the teams twice.
Good job.
Right.
Good job. Any other questions?
I got one more.
There.
I hope I wrote this right, but Division 1, you can't receive emails till your junior year, when you start your junior year. They're sending emails. Does there come a point when you would say we're not interested, or do they just keep sending them? You know, because they ain't gonna get feedback for 2 years or a year and a half, or.
We can respond to an email. So if a freshman or sophomore sends us something, we can respond. We can't initiate anything else beyond that until after they start their junior year.
So they would know they would be, that you might be interested, but not in a,
May.
any offers.
May, you know, some schools, it's different with each school. Some schools will be, blatantly honest and say, look, we're done recruiting, that's it. Others may leave it wide open. You know, an instance for us is we tend to leave it open for kids we're interested in, because we have Andrew Farrell, who is, leaving a year early. And we may not have projected that a year out, and now there's an opening for us that we need to fill. So in some cases, we will leave it open and not necessarily say, hey, we're finished recruiting. Because the possibility of, somebody leaving early or transferring, is always a possibility. It depends on each program.
I was saying, with that, can't keep someone being patient. The trend right now is, you get a club team, and a kid makes an early commitment. It varies, but you'll have kids early in their junior year make a commitment, and then the kids start talking, the parents start talking. Again, Johnny's going to this school, and he's, it's October of his junior year, and so now everyone, the trend is people start panicking. And well, God, he's already got an offer and he's going somewhere, and all of a sudden now the next player receives an offer, and also they think I got to make a decision because he's made it and I don't want to feel left out. And now you have a lot of these kids making very early decisions, and the transfer rate right now is incredible. And you talk to kids, we have a few kids who transferred to us, and kids we recruited initially, and said, why, what happened? They said, what, coach, I got nervous and I committed to a school when in reality I wasn't ready to. And now they go to a school where, again, maybe there's an instance of a kid who went to a very small school and he got nervous, so he committed, and all of a sudden he realized, wait, I want a DCS type school, with the football, the basketball, and whatever. And after 2 years, he ends up leaving there. And what again, I was recruited, I didn't get to know the coach that well, and I realized I can't play for a coach like that. And it happens more and more, that a lot of kids, because of, everyone starts talking, and all of a sudden, they don't want to feel like they're left out. Where again, it comes down to, what's the best fit for you as a person, and then as a family. So I just, warn you guys as you guys go through the process. It might not happen to you, but just, you're going to hear kids talking, and again, it comes down to being patient and understanding what the best fit for you is, and your family. Again, if it's finances that are involved as well, but making sure you understand what that is.
Maybe one more question.
My question is actually about transferring. So like say the school you're looking interested in didn't have an open spot one year, but the next year they have a lot of open spots, and you were looking to transfer there, how would you like, you know, would you send them an email during your season? The other school would be like, hey, I'm looking to transfer next year.
The process is one which you have to let your school that you're at know you're contemplating that. They have to send a release to that school, a release one initially, just so you can speak with them. Because you cannot speak with another school unless the first school releases you to do that. All right? Then once that happens, in the process of having some kind of communication, if the school wants you to come, the school then has to, the school that you're presently at has to grant you a one-time waiver so you can play immediately. If they don't grant you a one-time waiver when you transfer, you have to sit a year before you can play.
Like redshirt, is that?
Basically redshirt a year. And you can't get any scholarship money while that's going on as well. So it's usually a fairly easy process, but there are some occasions where the school does not give you a one-time waiver. And in that process, then you're going to sit a year before you can play. Both are happening more and more. Schools are a little bit reluctant to let kids go, and there's more kids that are looking to transfer. Last question.
When you were talking about things that point out to you in an email, you say you want kids to know like about your school. What do you mean by?
But like just go on the internet and just take a look at our, take a look at it and make sure that you know maybe who we play throughout the season, maybe a little bit about my background, what kind of academics we have, what it's offered. We'll have the kids now that'll write me and say I'm very interested in engineering. We don't offer engineering. Things like that. So just go through basically just go on our website and just get information off there. It doesn't have to be really specific. I just want to know that you've done a little bit of research and that we are something you're interested in.
When we send an email to you, if we just say, oh, we like you because you're a good player, you may be interested. But if we say we like you because we thought you had a very good left foot, the way you attack the defense and create opportunities for yourself and others, your work rate, and all of a sudden you're saying, they really saw me play. They know me. And it piques your interest. It's the same the other way. If we receive from somebody that says a lot about our program, what we've done, it says, okay, they know who we are. Does that make sense?
I received emails from kids. The common one is, I think I can fit well with your style of play. So I email them back, oh, what game did you see us play? And, I never saw you guys play. So how do you know you can fit well with our style? Something like that, like, coach is saying, you know what I mean? And that's one I've been getting a lot lately is I could fit well with your style of play. And again, I always ask them, what game did you see us playing? And just to see. And then you realize they didn't see us play. So they're just throwing something out there.
It's a formula.
Yeah.
Super. Hopefully that helps. If we can give these guys a round of applause.